Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto IO, a place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is Not Important, and I'm your host. Let's get into it. Zimbabwe sells millions of gold-backed crypto tokens despite IMF warning. Bitcoin addresses holding 1 BTC or more reach $1 million. SEC revises $22 million punishment against LBRY, seeks only $111K instead. What? Binance calls it quits in Canada, blames new rules. And last but not least, Florida governor signs CBDC bill into law restricting some uses of US and foreign CBDCs. Lots of news going on this Monday, guys. Let's do it. Onto the market. Current market cap sitting at 1.142 trillion. Let me refresh this just to make sure too. Yeah, 1.142. Bitcoin dominance at 46.5. ETH dominance at 19.7. Will we get to that 20%? I'm not holding my breath. Gas. Holy crap. Gas finally down. 37 Gwei will get you an ETH transaction. Onto the market. If you guys have watched over the weekend, we've got a little bit of a pump coming out of Bitcoin. And it was mudslinging meme coin central on crypto Twitter over the weekend. So what do we got going on? Kind of stable right now. Nothing crazy. Still a little bit on the red on the 7-day or the week, whatever you want to call it. 24 hours. Binance up $1. A dollar. Yeah, nothing crazy. Litecoin making some moves, up 7.5%. But yeah, nothing crazy going on after the stabilization, after Bitcoin did a little bit of a run. Lido Dow up 10%, 21 on the week. 4% for Arbitrum. 7.27 for the Graph. Phantom up 5%. Rocket Pool up 5.61. CFX Conflux. I have no idea what that is. Almost 14% in the last 24 hours. Outside of that, nothing too crazy. Sui, whatever you want to call this. It finally moved. It went almost all the way down to I think it did go down to $1 within the last week, and it finally started moving back up to $1.22. I've been trying to figure out where. I've been wanting to get into Sui, and I've been trying to figure out where the entry point I want to get in is. When I saw $1, I almost aped in, but then I was like, maybe it'll go low. If Bitcoin tanks, it's gonna go lower. I probably should have got in. Wouldn't have been a bad little 10%, 20%, whatever from the. I think it hit right at $1. Outside of that, yeah, like I said, not a ton going on. Let's jump to Bitcoin. Okay, we're not going to spend too much time on the charts today. But what I am going to talk about is this right here. And housekeeping per usual. Guys, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm just a random dude sitting in a house, in a room, in the middle of nowhere, making YouTube videos, talking to himself. This isn't even a trading channel. I'm not even a good trader, so don't pay attention to me, per usual. But if you guys have been watching over the last couple of weeks, you know that this 25816 was a buy order that I put in a few weeks back. And right now it looks like I'm a genius. This is Bitcoin on the 4-hour. Over the weekend, we cascaded and then we wicked down to that 25816 level. And then we took right off. My buy order got filled, and that thing ran to the sky afterwards. Here's, and look, I'm just gonna be real with you guys. I would love to sit here and tell you that, oh yeah, I totally knew it was gonna hit 25.8, and that's why I put the buy order there. No, and I've said it in the videos before. I put my buy order for Bitcoin at 25.8 to front run this support level at 25.434. That I've had on the chart for quite some time, just in case it got, like, let's say it got down to 25.6, which is a nice round number, and it took off again. So I front ran my buy order with this 25816, super random number. just to front run this support line. And I mean, holy shit. Let's look at it. Let's open it up. And let's see exactly where it wicked down to. I mean, look, and it hit 25.8. It hit 25.8 exactly. So, and this is where, like, okay, if you guys have watched the channel, I always talk about psychological numbers and to front run psychological numbers. For some reason, people like these round, simple numbers. And a lot of times, smart money or super experienced traders will put trades, buys or sells just above these psychological numbers or just below them or whatever. So either you do get stopped out if you're in a long or a short or whatever. But a lot of times when I would pick these perfect psychological numbers, my orders would never get filled. It'd be just above it, and they would never get filled. Or if I had a stop loss somewhere, it would hit my stop loss and then instantly go back up, right? So over the years, what I've started doing is, let's say I wanted to put my buy order at 25.8, and even though it did hit it perfectly, I would go, let's go like $20 above or $15, $16 above. And that's exactly what I did here. And the reality, like I said, was I was trying to front run that 25.6 support level. So I put it at 25.816. Now, what's even crazier, like the whole point of me like opening this up and showing you guys, this wick hit 25.8 exactly, which tells me is like, oh my God, how many buy orders were sitting at 25.8? So my point, long-winded point, I lucked out. This 25.816 buy order was not anything like intelligent on my own part. Again, I was trying to, or the 25.434. I was just front running that support level, just in case we got just above it, right? So I'm stoked on that. I mean, that is perfect. I mean, that wick filled my buy order and then took off. So over the weekend here, and I'm sorry guys, it was way too long to explain just that I lucked out with that buy order. Here's what I'm looking at now. We wicked up. We stabilized for a little bit around 26.8. We scam pumped and dumped, and then we came back up. And right now, we finally, just this morning, I'd say last night, this morning, we finally got back above this 23.10, which has been a support area for quite some time. Support, 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 which is another buy order of mine. Now, what I'm hoping is that either A, will continue to go up, or we'll bounce off of it and then go back up. But for right now, it looks like we've hit a local bottom on this decline that we recently had. Now, what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, guys, if you hit this on the daily, besides that wick, and I know, my lines are absolutely insane, guys. When you go out on the daily, it looks absolutely like madness because a lot of these time frames are on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, these support and resistance levels. But let's get rid of those. But if you look right here, this 26, we'll call it 26.7, just whatever, as a bottom, and then we'll say 30, around 30 as the top. We've just been ranging, especially if you go to the 2-day 2. This just looks like consolidation, right? Up here in this cluster, which, you know, we've been doing for quite some time. This could potentially, if you really want to get super crazy with the charts, that could be a flag. All right. Going that way. Going this way. That could be a huge flag on the 2-day. But who knows? it's just something to think about, guys. You're always trying to build a case, and whatever looks like the strongest case is probably the potential of where the price action is going to go. Outside of that, hopefully this weekend we can continue back up towards 30. I know a lot of people are looking for that 35K level, but we've got to get past all this previous resistance, etc., etc. Let me get rid of that flag on top of all the other stuff I have drawn here. It's kind of a nightmare. But look, if we run, I think we're going to hit this 28.9, which has been a huge resistance level for a long time. I thought we were going to turn it into support here. We kind of did, but then we dumped. It's just that level, that 28.9 has been a nightmare. So if we run again, I think we're going to hit our heads on that. And then I don't know what we're going to do if we stall out or break past it. But everybody is waiting for this 35. There's a lot of, if we get past this, we start structuring some kind of support above this 30,000. Let's call it 30,400. Start ranging. Hopefully we can continue going to the upside. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. Nothing crazy. Nothing really has changed. This is just ranging, in my opinion. We didn't get the dump all the way down to 25 that people were talking about, but 25.8 is pretty close, right? And I think with that wick, at least what it's showing to me is that there's a lot of people waiting for that level. There's a lot of people with buy orders and hoping they get filled. So there's a potential that we could be done. Like we might never get back to these levels again. And that wick right there is kind of telling that tale. Outside of that, guys, that's all I've really got for the charts. And I think I've already spent too long on it. So let's just go ahead and get on the news and get you guys out of here so you can enjoy the rest of your day and not listen to me ramble about shit I know nothing about. The news. Zimbabwe sells millions of gold-backed crypto tokens despite IMF warning. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe's first gold-backed cryptocurrency sale has been a success. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has sold 14 billion Zimbabwean dollars worth of gold-backed digital tokens, worth around $39 million. Despite a warning from the International Monetary Fund. On May 12, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe announced that it had received 135 applications for a total of 14.07 billion Zimbabwean dollars to buy the gold-backed cryptocurrency. Makes sense to me. The Zimbabwean dollar is officially trading at 362 Zimbabwean dollars to 1 United States, according to xe.com. But much higher on the street, making the stash nominally worth around 38.9 million. The crypto tokens, first introduced in April, are backed by 139.57 kilograms, with the sale running from May 8th to May 12th. The tokens were sold at a minimum price of $10 for an individual, $5,000 for corporations and other entities. The minimum investing period for the tokens is 180 days, and they can be held in e-gold wallets or on e-gold cards. The move is reportedly part of an effort to stabilize the country's economy and the continued depreciation, of the local currency against the greenback. The second round of digital token sales will be held, and the bank has requested applications to be submitted this week to be settled by May 18th, according to local media. RBC Governor Dr. John Mangudia commented, "The issuance of the gold-backed digital tokens is meant to expand the value-preserving instruments available in the economy and enhance the visibility of the investment instruments and widen their access and usage by the public." The move follows a caution from the International Monetary Fund against the African nation's plan for the gold-backed currency, arguing it should instead liberalize its foreign exchange market, according to a May 9th Bloomberg report. A careful assessment should be conducted to ensure the benefits from this measure outweigh the costs and potential risks, including, for instance, macroeconomic and financial stability risks, legal and operational risks, governance risks, cost of foregone FX reserves, an IMF spokesperson told Bloomberg. Zimbabwe has been battling currency volatility and inflation for over a decade. In 2009, the country adopted the USD as its currency following a period of hyperinflation, rendering the local currency worthless. The Zimbabwe dollar was reintroduced in 2019 to revive the local economy, but volatility ensued again. I don't know, it's back to gold. I don't know, man. I don't know tokenomics. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what this thing's gonna do. But it's supposed to be backed by gold. I can't think of anything bad about that. Let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. Let me know how dumb I am if I think that's a good thing. Moving on. Bitcoin addresses holding 1 Bitcoin or more reach 1 million. That's actually quite impressive. Damn allergies, guys. I'm sorry. Convicted buyers have bought up cheap Bitcoin. So this is interesting too. This is what we were talking about in the charts with that opening line. Convicted buyers have bought up cheap Bitcoin. Yeah, that wick dumped and it got bought up fast. Convicted buyers have bought up cheap Bitcoin as prices fell over the course of last year. The number of Bitcoin wallet addresses holding 1 whole Bitcoin or more has surpassed the 1 million mark. The 1 million whole coiner milestone was reached on May 13th, according to data from Glassnode. As the price of Bitcoin fell more than 65% over the course of last year, the number of wallet addresses holding 1 Bitcoin or more spiked, with the most notable surges occurring during an acute market crash in June and from November 11th to the in June and from November 11th, the date that FTX collapsed, subsequently filed for bankruptcy. God, get it out. In total, a whopping 190,000 or so whole coiners were added from early February of 2022 as the price of Bitcoin fell from its November 2021 highs. Glassnode co-founder Negantropic told his 54,000 Twitter followers that the best time to buy Bitcoin is when there's blood in the streets. That's anything. Damn, not Nostradamus over here. His comments come in the wake of numerous major bank collapses in the United States, as well as the Fed looking to potentially pause interest rate hikes in the coming months. These are some of the reasons why Glassnode said that it remains confident that Bitcoin can reach a price of 35,000 in the midterm. Yeah, I don't see why that would be a problem. I see it getting there before the end of the year, at least 35. While the round number 1 million marks a new notch in the record books, it's worth pointing out that 1 Bitcoin wallet address doesn't always represent a single person. Well, yeah, we get that. Many crypto investors have multiple Bitcoin addresses, and other addresses belong to major institutions like cryptocurrency exchange and investment firms that typically own large sums of Bitcoin. According to data from crypto analytic provider CoinGlass, of roughly 19 million Bitcoin currently in circulation, 1.89 million of these Bitcoin, worth $50.7 billion, are held on major centralized exchanges such as Binance and Coinbase. Furthermore, a staggering 3 million Bitcoin worth $80.4 billion and accounting for 17% of the total circulating supply are lost forever. According to an estimate from Glassnode, which draws the figure from a combination of data, including Bitcoin sent to burn addresses, wallets with lost keys, large accounts that have remained untouched for more than a decade. Yep, I'm one of those guys. I think back in 2013, I bought Bitcoin not even knowing what it was. Everybody's got a story like this, I'm pretty sure. To buy something on the internet that was kind of shady. And the way it was explained to me to pay for it was to use Bitcoin, and it was explained like it was PayPal. I didn't understand that it was an actual thing. It sounded like an escrow account to put money into to transfer money to someone across the country, as opposed to doing a wire transfer. I did not know that it was an actual currency. With that being said, I had to create a wallet, all those things, and the purchase I made had some left over. And I don't know. Let's just, for shits and giggles, let's see what Bitcoin was trading at back in 2013. It was around spring of 2013. I wonder if I can get to it just here. Shit. Sorry guys, give me just a second. Here I am playing around, wasting y'all's time. So let's see, spring of 2013. So let's just say May. So it was around $100. So anywhere from, let's just say $50 to $100. So I probably had like 2 Bitcoin, something like that. And there's probably about a third of a Bitcoin sitting there worth several $1,000s. Oh man, what a nightmare. Oh well, is what it is. Moving on. Sorry guys for that big waste of time. Just something to do. SEC revises, $22 million punishment against LBRY. If you guys remember, I think it was early last year, LBRY lost its case against the SEC, sort of. But they seek $111K now instead of the $22 million, which seems like dog shit. Like what's the point? The SEC originally wanted LBRY to pay millions of dollars in penalties, but new concedences, the defunct firm can't pay up that. Jesus. The United States Securities Regulator is seeking to revise its $22 million punishment against decentralized content platform LBRY, acknowledging it is unlikely to be able to cough up the funds to be able to pay it. In a May 12th filing in a New Hampshire district court, the Securities and Exchange Commission sought an amendment to its request for remedies in its successful case against LBRY. Instead of seeking an original $22 million, the amount it claims LBRY gained from the sale of its tokens, LBRY credits LBC, the SEC has asked the court to impose a fine of $111,614, citing LBRY's lack of funds and near defunct status. That's y'all's fault. You litigate against some company, it takes so long that everybody pulls out of the project and they lose a bunch of money. They don't have money to pay you, you freaking idiots. The request also asks to stop LBRY from conducting future unregistered offerings of crypto asset securities. The commission acknowledges LBRY representation that it is defunct, ceasing operation, and without the funds to pay a larger fine, and recognizes that a defendant's ability to pay is a factor when imposing a civil penalty. You fucking think. The SEC said in the filing. God, these guys are fools. The SEC first filed a civil suit against LBRY in March of 2021. Oh my God, it's been that long. It's been 2 years. Holy shit. Alleging that the firm's LBC sales were unregistered security offerings. It asked for $22 million in disgorgement and for the court to order LBRY to halt any further LBC sales. This is just a money grab. These guys don't give a shit about actually creating regulation or enforcing regulation. It's all money. Like, where did you come up with the, like, you're terrible. You did all these bad things that are against regulation, blah, blah, blah. Give us $22 million. That's so, like, where do you even come up with that number? It's insane to me. The SEC won the case in November 2022, while the preceding judge also ruling that LBC was a security. The SEC said the smaller penalty was a compromise between the need to balance the deterrence from a penalty with LBRY's inability to pay. In a December filing, LBRY claimed the SEC's request for $22 million wasn't reasonable, you think? And it was vastly overstated and failed to deduct any of LBRY's legitimate business expenses. LBRY and the SEC's calculation of the sum was based on rough back of the envelope math. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised. And the amount it sought was simply not supported by the record. In December 2022, around a month after the SEC won the case, LBRY said it will likely be dead in the near future due to being killed by legal and SEC debts. You think? Like what? Here's, okay, and I've said this since I started this channel. The SEC's quote-unquote motto is they're there to protect the investor. We're the investors, and anytime you throw a case against a project, you tank the price of the project. So we all lose our money if we're invested in the project. How are you helping us? It's absolutely insanity. Like, these people are garbage. They're scum of the earth, in my opinion. Moving on. Binance calls it quits in Canada, blames new rules. Binance is the latest in a string of departures from CEO Changpeng Zhang's home country, but it promises to keep working with regulators. Binance will withdraw from the Canadian market cryptocurrency exchange, announced on Twitter on May 12th. It called its withdrawal proactive as new guidance issued by Canadian regulators continues to take a toll on the country's crypto industry. Binance is joining some of its smaller competitors in the Canadian exodus brought on by the introduction of rules by the Canadian Securities Administration, the CSA, on February 22. That requires them to file new pre-registration undertakings and adhere to added restrictions. Although Binance has reportedly filed a new pre-registration undertaking, it explained in a tweet, unfortunately, new guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided to crypto exchanges makes the Canada market no longer tenable for Binance at this time. The new CSA rules prohibits firms from permitting Canadian clients to enter into crypto contracts to buy and sell any crypto asset that it itself is a security and or a derivative, and defines stablecoins as a security. OKX pulled out of the Canadian market in March. It was followed in April by the decentralized exchange DYDX and blockchain fintech Paxos. Binance sent its Canadian users an email seen by Cointelegraph that instructed them to close their open positions by September 30th of 2023. From October 1st to 2023, Canadian customers will be put into liquidation-only mode, it warned. The exchange added, while we do not agree with the new guidance, we hope to continue to engage with Canadian regulators aimed at thoughtful, comprehensive regulatory framework. Binance operated in all Canadian provinces and territories except Ontario, which it withdrew from on March of 2022 after a lengthy disagreement with the province's regulators. All is not lost for Canadian cryptophiles. However, Kraken filed a new pre-registration undertaking in March and stated its commitment to staying in Canada. The CSA lists 11 platforms authorized to do business with Canadians. Again, Big Brother government telling you what you as an individual can and can't put your money into. Let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. Last but not least, DeSantis in the news of crypto. Florida governor signed CBDC bill into law restricting some uses of U.S. and foreign CBDCs. The new law signed by Governor Ron DeSantis also urges other states to take action against potential introduction of CBDCs through their commercial nodes. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill restricting the use of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs in case you're not aware, in the state, according to local news sources. The governor urged state lawmakers in March to draft the bill. The new law prohibits the use of United States federal CBDCs as money within Florida's Uniform Commercial Code, UCC. It also bans the use of CBDCs issued by foreign governments and calls on other states to use their commercial codes to institute similar prohibitions. At the signing ceremony for the bill, DeSantis said he was spurred into action by U.S. President Joe Biden's administration's studies of the new financial technology. The United States does not have a CBDC, and there are no current plans to introduce one. Holy allergies. Quote, unquote, I don't think they would have one done that if they don't intend on implementing this, he said. Were U.S. CBDCs to be issued, it would be a massive transfer of power from consumers to a central authority. I agree. I think we all agree if you're in this space. DeSantis also saw the potential introduction of a CBDC as a threat to cryptocurrency. I think they wanted to crowd out and eliminate other types of digital assets like cryptocurrencies because they can't control that, so they don't like that. The bill the governor signed introduced changes to the state's current commercial code. You started to have a movement among the states to actually add CBDC to their uniform commercial codes, and this is something that was pushed by a lot of powers that be to do that. Okay. He said in an apparent reference to the proposed Article 12 of the UCC now before the state legislatures, DeSantis added, "We looked at that and said, we are not going to add central bank digital currencies to our commercial code, but we also said we need to add protections for Floridians against this. And so we'll put in the Uniform Commercial Code that CBDC is something we don't recognize." The Uniform Law Commission has taken pains to dispel the idea that it is encouraging the adoption of CBDC, even recently issuing a clarification on its position. John Montague of Florida-based Montague Law told Cointelegraph the bill stipulates that transactions involving CBDCs won't be afforded the usual UCC protections, potentially dissuading entities and individuals from engaging in such transactions with CBDCs. He added the UCC can establish obligations and alter third-party rights. Even without their direct contractual involvement, Florida has the authority to alter this definition. The law takes effect on July 1st. Hopefully it's a good move. I don't know. I mean, DeSantis has pretty much removed himself from anything the Fed does right now at this point. Making Florida almost the anti-California, because California does everything that is the most democratic state in the union. I think DeSantis is kind of taking the far right approach as well. And however you feel about politics, that's not really what I'm getting at. I think I feel like anything that the Biden administration does right now, DeSantis will instantly completely oppose and swing the complete opposite direction as hard and as fast and as far as he can. So let me know what you guys think about this. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? I don't know. I'm just some random dude in a room making YouTube videos. Outside of that, guys, let's look at Bitcoin one last time before I get you out of here. All right. Hopefully, we're going to get that retest. Let's look at the 1 hour to see what the price action looks like. Woo, woo. If we bounce and we go, that is bullish. But that's it. Keep you guys' eye on that. If we bounce off of that 7.310 level. And with that being said, per usual, if you do enjoy the content I provide for you here every morning on Boring Crypto IO, please by all means subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for notifications so you know when I post a video. Watch, like, and share the videos on all of your social platforms, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. I am out of here. Deuces.